Alright guys, so we walked around for a while. We found some balsam fir right here. This is kind of a bunch of regen, so it's all pretty small stuff, but everything with the needles will still be the same with the smaller stuff and the larger mature trees. The first thing we're going to do is just take a look at these needles, see what characteristics they have and how to identify them just based on their needles. And there's a few other species, such as spruce and eastern hemlock, which you might get it mixed up with, so we'll look at those other species too to see the differences between balsam fir and them. I cut off just a little piece of the needles here so we can get a closer look at the characteristics of these needles. The first thing I want you to notice about these is the profile of how the needles are laid out. They're very, very flat when they grow on the stem, and that is very characteristics of balsam fir. And with spruce, you'll find the needles will go all the way around the stem instead of just going flat. So that's one thing that's quite characteristic of balsam fir. So now we're looking at the leaves, or needles as they're commonly called, of the balsam fir tree. The needles here are roughly 15 to 25 millimeters long on average. The tips will be rounded on the end of each needle. So the underside of these needles, as you can see, they have distinct white lines. They'll have two white lines on the bottom, and that's an easy way to identify it based on its needles. So if you see a flat needle profile, so the needles aren't growing all the way around the stem, and if you look on the other side and you see these two lines right here, those are two very good indicators that you've got balsam fir on your hands. Another thing we're going to look at are these buds. As you can see, they're like covered in this pitch sap stuff, and it kind of breaks off. That is just some sap and resin from the actual balsam fir. They'll be in little clumps like this, commonly in threes, and they have small scales on them. Another thing we can look at is how they are attached to the stem. So if I pull one of these off, there's no little housing for them, they're just directly attached to the stem.